was the name. I think a lot of people were like, Dave's secret sauce. Yeah, Dave, give it some of your secret sauce. It's going to find controversy. I have found that out. We'll probably get to Mr. Subaru here in a minute. Where's my speed of air Pistons?
Where's my Pistons?
And the whole world went like, Dave's ripping people off. He made it clear that he wanted us to rebuild his core. Never thought I'd be that, but I guess I'm clickbait.
Welcome, everybody, to our first episode of The Builder's Lounge. This is a podcast hosted by me, Miles Bell, and we are going to talk about building engines, building families and relationships, and entrepreneurship, and building a business, and all the things that come along with that. I'm so excited to announce a lot of people know him as Dave. I personally call him my dad. Dad, get on in here. We're happy to have you.
Oh, okay.
Welcome to your own shop. We're hosting this in our warehouse, and it's a pleasure to be able to have you as the first guest. I think it's fitting only to have you, a real engine builder, a dad, and the man, the myth, the legend, as I say.
Keep going. No.
Thank you for being here.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
Okay, let's get started off with the first question.
Before you start, I know this is your thing, and I'm going to tell you this. Because
you might be the boss.
Because I'm your dad.
Okay, in this scenario, yeah.
This is so exciting for me to sit across the table from you. We've worked together now since you came back from your mission. It's been
13 or 14 years, yeah.
Yeah, 13 or 14 years. And I'm so excited for you. I won't get emotional, but very proud of you. Very excited of everything you've done.
Thank you.
Okay, now let's get on.
Okay. Well, thank you, Dad. It's been a pleasure to work alongside of you for this many years consistently and professionally. And then for those viewers that don't know, I have grown up here. I've learned how to ride my bike in the parking lot, my skateboard. I think Tyson showed me how to do a kickflip, believe it or not, when I was really young. So there's a lot of memories growing up here, from mopping floors, cleaning toilets, and then now here running a business with you. So yeah, it's a pleasure.
Well, it was easy because our house was right behind the place.
I'm looking at it right now. That's the house that we grew up in, is right through this garage door here. So there's a lot of memories. Now, some people may know you as the Gandalf mechanic on social media. I don't know if it's the white hair or the wisdom, the wise sage in you, but again, I know you as Dad. So you're a successful mechanic, engine machinist, builder, businessman, real estate investor, avid fisherman. I had to throw that in there. World traveler, and I'll call you a foodie because I think that's a thing you love. So I'm going to hit you with some rapid fire questions so that our audience can get to know you personally a little bit better outside of the mechanic and engine builder that you are.
Okay. All right. Let me get ready for this rapid fire.
Warm up.
Whoa, go.
Okay. Where were you born, and where do you consider where you grew up?
I was born in a military hospital in Great Lakes, Illinois. My dad was in the Navy. Don't remember it because I was born there. And we traveled, as the story was told, within like 6 months to South Florida. Grandpa, God rest his soul, and Grandma, both of them, kind of raised us in South Florida, mostly in the Keys. Mm-hmm. Grandpa was stationed at Homestead Air Force Base as a radar technician during the Bay of Pigs era and things like that. Mm-hmm. And I kind of just grew up in the Keys.
Yeah.
And then ended up in North Miami Beach Senior High for my senior year and graduated from there.
So that really is home to you, is Florida.
It is. It was for a long time, but now that 45 years have passed since then, this is home.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, here's another question. WWE or basketball, and why?
Oh, geez. You know the answer to this because of your little brother. It's got to be WWE, although I love basketball. But it's got to be WWE because of your little brother, Aiden. Mm-hmm. Me and Aiden have always watched WWE since he was a little boy. He has autism. And that's always been like his jam. And I'm telling you, he knows everybody that ever wrestled in the WWE and before it was the WWE and he just is into all of that. And we share that together.
So Aiden will probably be watching this, so I'm going to put you on the spot. Who is his favorite wrestler?
Right now it'd be Roman Reigns, but a long time it was Ric Flair. He thought, woo, Ric Flair was his guy.
All right. Favorite vacation ever, where and why?
The most recent one I would say ever is probably the one with you boys fishing. Had a lot of great experiences, a lot of scary experiences. Do you remember that time we were out in the Gulf Stream fishing in a sailfish tournament and 3 boats sank or something around us?
I think we saw one as it was sinking. Yeah.
It was Captain Skip Bradines. Skip, if you ever see this, God bless you, dude. Good captain. He captained down in the Keys for over 50 years now.
Yeah, he's a legend. Okay, that's a lot of my good memories as well. If it's fishing, then it's fishing, but what's your favorite pastime just to do when you are not at the shop?
Fishing.
Well,
let's be clear. I'm not a freshwater fisherman. I know in Utah people are going to ask me, you fish the Provo Lake. I know I know Sen now you become an avid fly fisherman. Yeah. You like going up into Island Park and all that.
Yeah, that's thanks to my father-in-law.
Yeah, not to me. That part of fishing you didn't get from me.
Yeah, totally different style, different art form.
Yeah.
Yes.
For me, it's got to be on the back of a boat, trolling or deep dropping or something like that.
Yeah.
And on the ocean. That's my fishing.
Yeah.
Spending time with family is my favorite thing to do.
Okay, here's maybe something: surfing or skiing.
I'm about as good now as each one of them. That's the last time I surfed. Oh, I went to Long Beach with Mom just, what was that, 2 years ago?
Yeah.
And I went out, this guy, that was the last time I surfed, Dana Point. It was actually Dana Point. And I got 3 runs in and I came in. And the guy that I went with was like this Adonis dude. I was like, this is my coach. And the guy was ripping and shredding, and I was drowning. So that was the end of that. I don't think I'm going to be doing that anymore.
That's fair. All right. Biggest pet peeve. If you have something that just drives you nuts, what is it?
Oh, there's so many. But I'm working on them. I hate a dirty work area.
Uh-huh.
I hate a mess.
Yeah.
Disorder drives me nuts.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think that would still classify as one of my pet peeves.
I remember growing up, a lot of my job when I was young was moving equipment, cleaning areas, and then reorganizing it. But also, you taught me if there's a rag on the ground, pick it up, put it away. Yeah, clean up a mess.
Yeah, so keep your tools organized and your work area clean, and you'll do better work.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. All right. So. Deeper questions here that we're going to get into. We're going to
going deep
for the audience here. We have some things that we're working into. We're going to get to some questions here, Dad, about some haters and some controversial topics. But before we leap into that, I want to just get some more general questions about you. Everybody knows you as a mechanic. And this is for my education too. I don't know if I know this. Have you ever had any other job besides being a mechanic?
I threw a paper route for the Miami Herald. And let me tell you, man, if you throw for the Miami Herald on a Sunday, when you're like 13, you're a tough dude. And I was a scrawny little guy. But that Sunday paper, that was that big.
Really?
Oh, with all the advertisement and everything. So I did that for the Miami Herald, and then I also threw for the San Francisco Chronicle when we went from Florida, and you know this, but I don't talk about it much. My dad got transferred to Alameda, which is a naval base in this bay of San Francisco. Uh-huh. They've decommissioned it now.
Okay.
But it's the Enterprise was stationed there, and he was on the Enterprise for a few years. So we went there and lived there, and I threw a paper out there with my brothers.
Yeah.
Another big paper that was tough to handle.
So besides the 2 paper routes, you've always been a mechanic?
I've never had another job. Yeah.
Okay. Wonderful.
I've been unemployed for a while, but not for very long stints, but mostly, I'd never done anything but I officially started wrenching when I was 15, 16 years old at a taxi cab limousine company.
Yeah.
In Miami.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So your love of tools, I know about it, but tell the audience why you have a love for tools and why you have so many. Where did that start from?
I think probably Grandpa. You know, we used to have, we were poor because he wasn't an officer in the military. He was an enlisted man. And so we had to build our own boat in the Keys. And I mean, and when I'm describing this, I'm not kidding you. I'd fish off a 16-foot wood boat. When I say custom, it was custom. You built it. And my dad had bought this old wood boat off somebody else, so we didn't build it there. But when we got it home, the whole bottom was rotted out, dry rot. So we had to tear the bottom out, put new ribbing in it, fiberglass it, do all that. And then we mounted a 35 horsepower Johnson motor on the back of it. And my dad taught me how to work like with tools and make things happen, you know, and I think it probably came from Grandpa.
Really?
Yeah, because he was a craftsman we even built a TV once, you know, Radio Shack had kits you could buy. And I remember building the TV with the tubes and everything, dude.
Wow.
Yeah,
okay,
with Grandpa.
That's before my time.
Yeah,
I remember the big TVs that weighed like a ton.
That was we built one of those in welded, soldered the circuit board. All the circuit boards came, but it didn't have anything on the circuit board, so you had to put all the transistors and resistors and amplifier, everything on it, and solder it up, and fired that thing up. It was color TV, and that would have been 19. Man, look it up, but I mean it was. Radio Shack used to sell these kind of kits. I think in 1975, 76, something like that.
Wow. Yeah. Okay, so we'll have to see how many people even know about Radio Shack. I remember that, but not building the TV. That's something before my time.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Well, that's cool. Okay, I remember Grandpa he would create a tool or make something for anything he needed. He was all about his tools. So that's neat to know. Okay, let's get to some heavy hitters here.
Okay.
Let's talk about
Consuelo.
Let's talk about a topic that created a lot of controversy, and I want to address why it created a lot of controversy. I'm talking about the sauce.
Well, first off, I had nothing to do with the name of that sauce. So I'm going to just say that right out loud. And now
that is true. It just came. It came as an idea.
That was your idea.
Well, I won't take the credit for it. I think it was some people on our team, and they just wrote it down because they're like, we need to prove something for this diesel fuel additive, and they're like, I don't know what it is, so we'll just call it secret sauce, and that's how it begun. But why did we originally come out with this?
Well, because we're trying to find a way. The first reason, whether it's my secret sauce or in other companies or something like that, we wanted to find the very best product we could that I felt would deal with the lubricity issues in American fuel. Now, a lot of people live in America don't realize this because I don't travel into Europe. I've never been to Europe, but I've been told by people that know that over in Europe, you can buy different levels of diesel. Like here, you can buy different levels of gasoline.
Right.
And over there, it's for additives like lubricity and things like that. Over here, you get what you get, and
ultra low sulfur diesel
fuel, and its lubricity issue is a real problem for these high pressure pumps that are pumping up to 30,000 psi. And then there's other issues with cleanliness and things like that. But that's where it came from. I'm not much of a guy that says you can fix anything, and everybody on the internet likes to call it, snake oil, and I use the term too.
Right.
And there is a lot of snake oil out there. Like fix a head gasket in a can. Let me tell you, that's snake oil.
Right.
That causes more problem than fixing any head gasket. It plugs up heater cores, radiators, things like that.
Right.
But this isn't a product that fixes anything. That's the difference. I'm not saying it's going to fix your pump that's going bad.
Right.
It's preventive maintenance. It's a better quality oil filter. It's a better quality product of oil. It's just adding a little better quality of diesel lubricity to your fuel, and of course anti-gels and cleaners and some other things.
So why did that create so much controversy? Let's cold start this.
I think you'd have to ask the people that had controversy about it. I think
that's fair.
I mean seriously, I was kind of shocked.
Yeah.
Because my impression, you're asking me my impression,
right,
And my impression was people were so used to me just giving everything free content. And I'm still doing free content. That's why I started this. I'm passionate about this industry.
Right.
And every aspect of it. And then some people thought, oh, he's selling out to the man, or whatever the comments were. But I really want everybody to remember, I am a producer of my product, and my product is, I say this with understanding I am not the best mechanic, I'm not the best engine builder, I'm not the best father, I'm not the best, but I try to be the best in all that I do in my life. And so that's, I want to say this is something good. This is something that will help you. I'm confident of that. And it costs a little bit of money, just like auto repair here costs. This free content, somebody's actually paying me to make content because I'm fixing their car. And so for people to all of a sudden get kind of sideways about me selling a flashlight that I think it's the best, if I hold a tool and it's like, this is the bomb, and I've been doing this for a long time, it's like content. It's still free. I'm still giving you my opinion about it. But like anything, you're eventually going to have to buy it.
Right.
And so your question was, why did people got chapped about it?
Yeah, there was this huge thing about
you'd have to ask them.
Cold starting and which may be a different thing, but this just I think the secret sauce really was one of the first things that it
was the name. I think a lot of people were like, Dave's secret sauce. Then it was the memes like, yeah, Dave, give it some of your secret sauce. So that's why I was like, we could have picked a better name. Anyway.
But we just, it really, I think, stemmed from there was an issue in the industry. We had a solution, and so there we go.
That's it.
But then what came from that was us talking about cold starts. I think a lot of that stemmed from there about cold starting your truck and then driving. So let's go into depth more on that, because a lot of people were limited on our social media a lot to just short form content, 60 to 90 seconds. TikTok has a little bit more. We do some YouTube videos, but we haven't really talked about cold starting. And this will lead to another guest that we'll eventually have. But tell us about cold start.
Well, before I get to the cold start, let's talk about everything that I'm ever going to talk about. It's going to find controversy. I have found that out.
Right.
Welcome to America. I love differences of opinion. I'm that guy.
Right.
But let's have a real honest conversation about the difference of opinion, and then if possible, let's bring facts to it, scientific, not what you think. I do the same thing. Right. I have opinions that I form, and all of a sudden I'm finding out that's stupid.
Yeah.
I'm wrong.
Right.
And I hope that I've matured enough in my life to realize that I can learn quicker if I can find that quicker. So I just want to say that everything that I'm ever going to do, hopefully, knock on wood, is going to be a benefit to the customer. We're going to go back a little further. Controversy about oil change intervals. Remember that those started.
That's probably one of
the first ones.
The first ones. Yeah.
Now, here's my reasoning for it. Okay? My reasoning is the manufacturer produces these maintenance schedules for their vehicle.
Right.
Now, I say we all know. A lot of people might not know. The manufacturer is hoping to hit certain targets with the federal government to say, our car is cheaper to keep per mile, because there's actually published things about that, not only for maintenance and gas and things like that. And so they're saying to the consumer, it's kind of on your water heater too. This water heater costs you this much to run every hour. Right. The same thing with cars. So the manufacturer wants to put out their maintenance schedules as far as possible. Hence, lifetime fluid in BMW transmissions. Great. That means lifetime fluid. Wow, that is some super fluid.
So you'll never have an issue with your transmission?
Well, apparently it's only warranted for 50,000 miles.
Right.
So you have to start thinking all these maintenance schedules and what we're told by the manufacturers, is it really in the consumer's best interest? And so now I'm assuming the consumer's best interest is longevity and cost to keep.
Right.
And my experience has been that manufacturer schedules are about double what they should be generally.
Right.
You know,
it's not a one size fits all.
It's not a one size fits all. But there's science, and I've taught that. There's science to say, okay, this particular fluid, let's find out how much dirt is in it, how degraded it has gotten. So we have testing on our oil and things like that. And because you have the same drive cycle, most people drive the same mileage every month.
Right.
They can then set a baseline. Okay, for me, I need to change my oil X amount of times. And they don't have to do it every time. They maybe get 2 oil tests the whole life of the car.
Right.
You know, but it sets a baseline. That's all I'm trying to do. And so it develops controversy. And that you want to get into that, please always try to remember, everybody out there, that what I'm trying to do, my brain works this way after 65 years on a planet. I'm trying to figure out how to get from A to B as quickly as possible with the least amount of waste. That's being a mechanic, a machinist, tool pass, you know, keeping a piece of machinery running. People accuse me all the time of, you know, in the comments, controversial. Oh, he's just trying to sell you something. You know, and I'm an engine builder. I'm constantly trying to not sell you an engine. I'm building a motor that'll last.
Right.
You know, that's my jam.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And yours too.
Yeah. Now, that thought of,
boy, that was a big thought.
no, it's a good thought. So a lot of people have that controversy. Why do you think, and you've taught me to do this differently, is you get a lot of hate.
I do.
And I think because we bring up subjects that are different from popular opinion. And why do you think that attracts so much hate? And do you think, and how come you don't typically respond to that and incite that hate?
Let's try not, you know, son, you can use any word you want. I don't look at it as hate or haters. I call them creators. You know, everybody's a creator, and they're trying to create their opinion. Mm-hmm. Okay. And, you know, sometimes their opinion doesn't align with me. Occasionally I will enter that chat in a comment, very rarely, if people know that I do not chat. You know, you always know if I'm commenting because it's obviously me and my picture, but I always put the little mechanic meme. I love that guy. And that's how I sign off. Uh-huh. But I don't want, you know, it's generational. It comes back, you know, Ford, Chevy. You know, right. What's better? Oh, I'm a Chevy guy. You know, and I mean generational. My grandpa liked Chevy. You know, so some of these things that people comment on, I think is like so ingrained, whether it's political views or the way you should not idle your truck or something like that. All my job is to bring as much facts to it. And I think after, you know, almost 50 years in this business, 35 years in my own shop and all the work I've done in those years, I'm a good base for an honest opinion about things. And if you disagree with it, let's have a real chat about it. But, you know, your opinion is great, but let's go beyond your opinion. Give me some facts.
Yeah. And that and then degrading, and then we'll arm wrestle for it.
I'll arm wrestle you over it.
And that degrading of comments, do you see benefit from that? What I'm trying to get is some advice from you to these generations that are out there on social media when it comes off very degrading, some of those comments. How do you personally handle that? And then what is your advice out to that audience from what you've learned in your life?
Well, a greater man than me, I heard once say that the lowest form of communication is none. And then the one closest to it is texting, which basically is comments.
Yeah, comments texting may be here, comments may be right next
because
right
it has, that. You know, I've heard it said that most communication, 80% of it is like, you know, visual and eye contact and, you know, all this stuff that we do.
Right.
And It's something like 80% of that, and only, 15, 20% of it is the actual words. So when you're reading the text, you're not really getting that. Your question is, why is this happening and how to best handle it? I think the way I'm handling it, I don't really involve myself in it too much.
Okay.
Especially if it's just, I think it's the minority. Come on, this has happened. Okay, Donald Trump just won the presidency for the second time. But I think he looks at, I'm going to try to emulate what I see him doing. He's not looking at everybody hating him and things like that. I'll bet you he's just going to move on. He's about business, man. I got business to do and I got stuff to do. All these people that want to say something to me in a chat or a comment or something like that, and most of the time, what I think it is for getting back, not haters, they're creators. Now, you've chosen to create something that I don't think has a value. It's kind of like fake news. Fake news has a value. People are paying for it.
The excitement of it.
It's a controversy. People need certainty, uncertainty, and uncertainty is controversy. Oh, what's going on there, and that kind of stuff. I just think it's the way society is so detached that we're doing texting now. We don't really have communication. You know me, man. You send me more than 2 texts, I'm calling you. I'm done with that.
Yeah, if it's more than a few sentences, it's a call.
It's a call. I just think it's part of the way the world is, and we have to learn maybe how to do better at it.
Yeah.
People are. It's tough. I understand the youth are this is what they're growing up with, and I see a lot of problems with communication about how they want to have relationships and things like that.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, you want to be able to have a life with that person.
Okay, but what I'm really after, because I know with me personally,
he's digging.
I'm digging. I got a shovel, man. Okay,
I'm digging it. Go.
I remember, so we started our Dave's Auto Center social media accounts way before we did our Dave's Engine account. And the Dave's Engine is essentially like my channel or more of me, and the Dave's Auto Center is more of you.
Uh-huh.
And
that was like September of 23, wasn't it?
September,
October 23.
Yeah, because we opened this new building in August.
Not quite a year and a half.
Right.
Okay.
So anyway, so we started that, and then I watched you get hate occasionally on certain subjects, and people would do comments, which prior to this, I didn't have social media myself. I had an account, but I wasn't active on it for maybe years. And then I started the Dave's Engines, and I remember...
Oh, yeah, you got ripped, dude.
Ripped. Holy cow.
People were like, you're on your dad's coattails. And
yeah, people were calling me, it's like, oh, your dad's just letting you have a little pet project. I remember my first video, TikTok, was like, oh my gosh.
See?
It is.
Now that pissed me off. Well, see, but I don't read your stuff, and I don't read a lot of my stuff. But that pissed me off. So if you're trying to dig and find out, okay.
Does it affect you?
It doesn't. The only thing that affects me, I'm telling you what, and you know this story. I got thrown out of a bathroom when I was about 15, 16 years old. Butt naked, man. And it wasn't a very good thing. And I really think at that time I was like washed and cleansed forever about giving a rat's cahootie what people thought of me. Now, do I? For a moment, I do. And then I realized, whoa, I'm giving them the power. And I realized that when I was a young man. But now, what gets my blood boiling, and that's what affects me, is if your mom, Allie, catch wind of it, because it affects her. And if you affect her in a negative way, that gets me and my children. So like I was pissed that you were getting that kind of flack. I was like, they have no clue. I mean, people have no clue what a great young man you are. I mean, they're going to find out as you continue to grow and develop your talents in this world. But I mean, what you've done in your 34 years on this planet is remarkable.
Thank you. But I think the hard thing for me to adjust, I'm going to try and not get caught up in some of that emotion because I appreciate it. But I think you've you've taught me that whether it's through word or just through action is like we got work to do. We got stuff to get done. And so we don't want to spend time on some of this negativity that is put out there for really no benefit or value to anybody except just to be negative. And that's the part that I don't like is when some of these people on TikTok seems to be the worst. But
they're gonna make sure that you're correct on that one now, bro.
I mean, TikTok, and please correct me, anybody out there that's on social media platforms. TikTok has a lot of value, but man, it's savage. It's like there are some people in there that'll tear you apart with no thought beforehand of what they're saying. And so what I'm getting to is that's so foreign to me. That's so beyond me.
Well, yeah, because you didn't grow up with that kind of in an environment. Thank God.
Because I'll look at some people that say these comments. I first did when I first started posting on TikTok. I'd look at some of these people's accounts, and I remember one guy just like buried me like I've never been bullied before. And I clicked on his account, and it's a guy with a few kids and his wife in the picture. I'm like, dude, what are you doing? You've got a family, you've got a life, obviously, but why are you going after me, somebody you don't even know, that's posting and just giving it a shot? And what are you doing with your life where you think that's okay?
You know, this is interesting to hear from my son. I suppose I would have never wished it on anybody, but I now, hearing you being bothered so much by it, I just... it doesn't bother me, but for a moment, until I hear this kind of stuff that it's bothered you so much, then I get, and I think it's just the dad thing. I'm just really offended that someone would speak ill of my son or my wife or something, or, an employee here or something like that. If that's happened, I don't like that. I don't like people. And that's just a terrible thing that's happening in the world. And God bless those people, and I'm not I'm telling you, I'm the best sinner you ever met. I'm
same.
I've done it all. And so, but what I'm saying is, if you really think about it, it's sad, and we're told, I like this. God says, pray for those that despise and hurt you, something. And I haven't quoted scripture, but that's the way I read that. Pray for those that despise you. But here's the interesting thing. In the scriptures, I can't find where it says what to pray for them. So I don't know whether it's hellfire and damnation or forgiveness. He just says pray.
That's an interesting twist on it.
And so I think God is saying, do unto others. So I pray for them that they might, have a better idea, because that's what I would want somebody to pray for me if I was spewing crap.
Yeah.
So,
well, that leads me to a few things. So we'll get to some of these topics that I know some of you guys want to hear from us on this, and specifically from you, Dad. So let's talk about the first thing, Cory's engines. That rings a bell here.
Yeah.
Tell us about that. Open up about that.
Well, first off, I had nothing to do with any of it because, I'm running a business, and I've got other people that are doing things.
Well, and I'll throw myself under the bus here since you're bringing that up. I think I have a lot of responsibility. What happened is we built an LML Duramax for this gentleman, and we had some overspray, like we had some faults.
Well, the biggest fault is that he sent us a motor, and he made it clear that he wanted us to rebuild his core.
And I'm going to throw my hand up here. He made it clear to me.
Yeah.
And that through the process, I'll take the blame here. Through the process, I did not ensure that his engine is the one that was built and sent back to him.
Right. And he
guilty.
Yeah. And so I find out about this. We with with the growth we've had, we moved into this new building that year. We'd been in business for 33 years and then bought another building next door, moved into this building. So, we're growing and the growing pains, and, we're always going to be making mistakes. So you drop the ball on making sure his engine got rebuilt. We built him another engine, and it had a little bit of overspray on it. And he wasn't satisfied that the casting didn't look as good as what his casting was.
Right.
And so as soon as we found out about it, I made a phone call. I talked to him and his dad on the phone. They were nice gentlemen. It was a very pleasant conversation. I offered them a very substantial refund. As I recall, it was 50% of the cost of the motor, I believe. And I sent him another newer casting, and it was perfect. And then he did a video when he opened it up and said, hey, it looks great and everything. And I've heard since that he did another video that, hey, I got it running for 20 minutes, but he blew up the tranny or something. But I think what's happening there, again, he's a creator. I know people want to identify him as a hater. I just don't want to put that moniker on anybody, to be honest with you.
I think that's respectful.
Yeah. So he's a creator, and he's found out, you're probably, I'm seeing in your notes over there, but we'll probably get to Mr. Subaru here in a minute. But, all these creators have found their way of creating a content that works. Because if you go on and look at Cory's site, and I have, all his videos are a couple of hundred, except when you put my face on them. And then when you get my face on there, it's like, whoa, what's going on over there? It's the same thing they do in sensational news. If they can throw Trump's name on it or anybody that's sensational at the time, J-Lo and Ben Affleck or whatever, boom, it's clickbait. I happen, for some reason,
the Gandalf looking
the
face.
Gandalf thing going on here. I'm clickbait. Never thought I'd be that, but I guess I'm clickbait. And so, he's found a way to create and have a community that he likes. They're kind of that negativity stuff, and some people like living in that. And so, I'm right back to where I started this. I'm gonna pray for him.
I can tell you on the back end, everybody, that we move on, and we got a business to run. We've got families. We got mouths to feed.
We got mistakes to fix and correct and overcome.
Yeah, and so did we do the best job? I should say, did I do the best job at handling this as effectively as I should have? And no, I didn't.
Well, that's why it escalated to me, and then we took care of it, and he was so satisfied.
Right.
And,
we thought.
Well, I think he just doesn't understand that, maybe I didn't understand that this is the type of creator that he is. But in my heart, I did a wonderful thing. I sent him a motor that he's done a video on it. Oh, this thing is beautiful. He's even said, oh, it ran great. And I gave him 50% discount on the motor. The only reason is because he did ask us for his core, and that satisfied him, that he wasn't getting his core back. And that's where I wanted to be, is I wanted to satisfy his customer, that I felt I was making whole.
Now, we'll throw in there, I don't think anybody knows this except some of our team. We put that engine in a truck, and one that I own, and it built 1,100 foot-pounds of torque.
Yeah.
Didn't do a dang thing to it.
Yeah.
Ran fine.
It just, the motor's been sold, and it was great, and we fixed a little bit of overspray that the whole world would. And now, really, okay, when people start nitpicking stuff like that, it is ridiculous. But what
could we have done better?
Yeah,
and I think we did.
And what do we do now? We've actually made magnetic plates, so all our engines go out. They do look better. We took feedback from that.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so let's talk about the other one. I'm talking about a speed of air piston box that went to a young man, and he did a video saying that we essentially ripped him off, that he paid for something and that we charged him for something. Well,
first off, it wasn't he that paid for it. It was his daddy.
Right. And so
and his daddy had the invoice, and the invoice did not include speed of air pistons.
Right. It included other upgrades, and I think maybe that's where the misconception came from, is the other upgrades were additional above and beyond the engine that they wanted and requested. But he had some extra parts when he originally brought us the engine, and we put some of those parts.
And apparently we didn't put all of his extra parts.
And we didn't put all of his extra parts. So again, we're not perfect. Hey-oh. We're another human being out here.
30, 50 motors a month. Where sometimes and people send us more parts than we need.
And how many thousands of customers on top of our engines do we deal with? And yes, sometimes the ball does get dropped. So the feedback is helpful because we get better. But anyway, so we put some of his parts in a speed of air piston box because I think they tell us that they spent a lot for those boxes.
Those boxes are the nice box.
It's like a large iPhone box.
What's the one box every woman wants to get? With jewelry in it. It's like
like a
Cartier. Yeah, Cartier box. I mean, those boxes are so nice.
They are, and so we put some of his stuff in there. In our mind, it's just like it's an empty box.
I don't feel good about it, but we made a business decision to not use those boxes. People gave me things like paint the boxes. Okay, so now I'm going to have more paint in the atmosphere. No, I'm not going to paint boxes or something like that. But I was kind of, we don't get to in the automotive as much as I'd like to recycle stuff. Why not reuse things? Grocery bags. We go to the grocery store, reuse your grocery bags. That's all I was trying to do. So what have we done now? We just eliminated. You're not going to be getting free speed of air boxes, although they're sweet.
I think when he saw that, I'm almost defending him, but I think when he saw that,
well, he did. That's what he thought.
He's like,
"Where's my speed of air pistons?
Where's my pistons?" And he put a borescope in the engine. He's like, "I don't got speed of air pistons."
And the whole world went like Dave's ripping people off.
You scumbag!
I thought. Let me tell you a story, and I don't think you were around when this happened. When people say to me, "I ripped them off," this happened to me a long time ago, 20 years ago.
An oil change?
An oil change.
I was not here, but I remember the story.
Oh, my gosh. I changed this guy's oil in his BMW, and he came back into the store, and I don't do oil changes anymore. Maybe it was that trauma that caused that. But he came back into the store and you didn't change my oil. I says, excuse me. I said, I actually personally did it, guy. And, I did change your oil.
Oh, I didn't know that you did it.
And he's like, no, you didn't. And he walks me back out, and he's saying that oil filter's dirty. I says, well, it's just got my hands on it, guy. It's a brand new oil filter though. And
should have swabbed it for
so I said, come on in here. I walked him back to the oil change rack, and there's like 3 oil filters in the waste thing draining, old oil filters. And his oil filter was a different brand, but it was still the same size.
Right.
And I show it to him, and he goes, well, you could have just left that in there. How about those? Why are those other oil filters in there? You doing the same thing? I mean, I was thinking I was getting punked. What's that show that they used?
Adam, what's his name? Yeah, it was called Punked.
Punked.
It's like Adam
Carell or
no.
Carol?
Ashton Kutcher. Ashton Kutcher was going to pop out and be like, gotcha.
I mean, and the guy he wouldn't stop. And so finally, I didn't know what else to say. I just said, you got me, dude. I says, I've been here at the time. I'd been around for 15 or 20 years, I says, I built this business. I'm in this community for 15 or 20 years, and I'm not doing any oil changes. I'm just ripping people off. I said,
so you said this to him?
I did. I was losing my mind. So my point is yes, I have been accused of those type of things in my life. And I think in auto repair, it's going to happen. But it's so incredibly insane. Even when people tell me stories or I hear them, I'm almost like, I can't believe it. I personally have never seen, or in the community that I'm here with, and I'm here working every day, but I know the other shops around here. I don't know the guys personally. I wouldn't call them friends. But I wouldn't say that any of them are ever done anything toward, or to rip people off. Now, do people make mistakes? Yeah. And let me explain the problem in this industry.
We've had this discussion, so I like where you're going with this.
Yeah. Here's the problem in this industry, mechanics and shop owners, and really any service provider, whether you're a plumber or whatever. This is what's going to happen. The absolute best you can expect a customer, unless they're Joan of Arc, most of the time, the best that you can hope for is if you make a mistake, you fix the car, the check engine light comes back on, and they've driven, just a day and it's back on. The best you can hope for there is a customer that would go, they took my money, they didn't fix my car, but maybe I'll give them another chance. You're lucky to get that. Most of the time what you get is, those dirtbags took my money, they didn't fix my car, and I still got the same problem. Now, with the check engine light thing, the check engine light can come on for 300 different things. And the one thing that you fix could have masked another problem that now is exhibiting itself. And, because the customer is so uneducated about this, it's not their fault. I mean, when I go to a doctor about my foot hurting like crap, I'm expecting him to educate me about the insole or whatever I got to do to, get right, because all I know is the dang thing still hurts, And so we have to remember that usually the customer's coming at us from that perspective of less than hopeful. They're not thinking, oh, these guys are so nice and they just didn't get it right. Let's give them a chance again. That's pretty rare. Most of the time it's like, man, they ripped me off. Now, why do they think we rip them off? Really? There's nothing more complex than the automobile that the consumer touches. There is nothing.
I think people need to hear that.
There is nothing that the consumer touches and interacts with, your microwave oven, your TV.
What about your iPhone?
Your iPhone. Yeah, I say your iPhone. Your iPhone's in the dash of your car, and your mechanic's working on the whole thing. There is nothing that changes more rapidly and is more technologically advanced than that automobile. And the consumer and a lot of mechanics struggle with all that technology and the understanding of it. That's all it's about. And so mechanics just got to get better. And consumers have to maybe slow down and take a little time and find a good shop that can explain to them the ins and outs of whatever they're getting worked on.
So if a customer comes back, I'll put you in this scenario. If a customer comes back and there is an issue, let's say the check engine light comes back on. They brought it in originally for a check engine light issue or any issue, so to say, and then they bring it back at another given time with a similar symptom. What would you do, or how would you handle that to educate the customer? And then I'll once you answer that, I've got a follow-up question for you.
Okay, let's go even further back than that.
Okay.
I'm going to talk to the manufacturers around the whole world. Pay attention, because this is important. There is probably nothing that comes back more often for a shop than a check engine light. Would you say that's true? You've been running the shop for more than a decade.
Yeah, because like you said, the check engine light can come on for, I don't even know how many hundreds of things, but a lot of different things.
So consumers demand, stand up, rise up right now and say, look, I don't want just one LED bulb. I want 4 LED bulbs. Now, that's not going to blow the budget in auto manufacturing, okay? And those 4 LED bulbs are going to light up the code. Oh, genius idea. So instead of just having a check engine light come on that can come on for 300 different things, have it come on to light up the code. And if there's more than one code, you could just, in your information system, just scroll through them. So that it makes it easier for all parties concerned that, okay, I brought it in today's for a PO 1234, okay? And a week later, the light's back on. Is it, Mr. Customer, I'm sorry about that. Can you tell me what the code is? Yeah, it's on for a P1234. Oh, well, that's what we just fixed. Definitely, let's take a look at it. Oh, it's on for P1859, or, I'm just whipping out numbers here.
Right.
And then we can say, that's a different system. We'll have to take a look at it. And then the customer can be educated. It's kind of like when you go to a doctor, if a doctor's looking at your toenail and now you got to go see a doctor again, you got a mouth, you can say, well, it's my ear that hurts. It's not my toenail that's bothering me. Well, that dang check engine light doesn't allow us to do that. So, that's one of my, if I swear, if manufacturers come out with that, I'm taking credit for that. Right here and now.
Okay. So let's say, what if we fix a vehicle for a scenario? Let's say we put in a thermostat and it goes to a different vehicle or a different shop, and it came in for an overheating issue or something like that.
Okay.
And it goes to another shop because the customer has a similar symptom.
Uh-huh.
What would you hope that shop does And what do you hope the customer understands?
That's a good question. I think every shop should establish, and really implement the 4 C's: condition, cause, correction, confirm.
No joke. I've got it. Look at what shirt I'm wearing.
Good for you, dude. Represent. Good job. Okay. So this is how we handle, since we're building motors all across America, shipped a few to Canada, I think, we are having people call, they'll get a motor shipped to them, and then they'll get it up and running, or they can't get it up and running. And what do we say? What is the condition? Well, it won't start and run. What's the cause? Well, I don't know. I just bought a motor from you. So that's a legitimate statement from them. It's a question, but they're making a statement. In a motor, what we're supposed to supply is a compression, an engine motor, and it has to make good equal umph compression, and it's an 8-cylinder, all 8 cylinders, a Cummins 6, and other engines. Good compression in each hole, proper oil pressure delivered, timed correctly. The engine is timed correctly, and a cooling system that holds pressure. That's what we are.
An entire cooling system, just the long block side.
Good point.
Right.
Yeah, because I'm now shipping it to you. You got to make sure that the radiator, the intercoolers, and all that stuff is good. And so that's what I mean. The condition is it doesn't start. I pulled the document where we ran it on the sim test. We had 320 PSI if it's a diesel and all the cylinders. We got pictures of where the 2 gears were lined up on the crank and cam gear. So we've kind of done our job. So then we will talk to them and say, okay, now we need to know it's probably a fuel system issue. Why did the truck go down? But it's hard to just throw parts. I say, I don't like to hunt with a shotgun. I don't hunt anyway, but I want to hunt with a rifle. I want one bullet to kill the animal. I don't want to be, spreading stuff all over the place. And I think a lot of shops do that.
And so that's part of the concern is usually when a customer perceives a shop as dishonest, it's not necessarily that the shop was intentionally trying to do something dishonest, but it's more where there may have been incompetence or...
Yeah.
Okay, so the other topic that I had questions on was Spencer, the gentleman that worked for us for 2 months.
2 months.
2 months. Mm-hmm. He's personally directed a lot of negativity towards you, and
he's a creator.
Oh, yep. He's a creator.
Yeah.
And so, what's your feelings? What's your take on that?
Well, I've been in business 35 years. And I think in 35 years, I've got one ex-employee that works for me for 2 months. I do not want to say anything negative about him because I'm a creator. That's just not what I like to create. But I've been doing this for 35 years, and you've worked next to me, son. And I think you've had it tougher than anybody working next to me. But to only have one person in this big world that's got something not so nice to say about me, I don't know. I'm okay with that, I guess. I wish him the best.
In my opinion, he's a fine guy. Like I said,
but he didn't work very well here, and a lot of guys don't. This is a very complicated, heavy duty shop. I mean, didn't he run a car into a ditch here or something like that?
Yes.
Yeah.
But I think it goes back to the point with kind of all of these creators, as you'd like to call them, is what value is that really bringing them? Are they feeling like they're getting their
it's definitely bringing them value, dude. It's called monetization. Okay, your question is correct. What value is it? It's the same thing with terrible news and just fake thing. There is value there. If there was, always follow the money. Always follow the money. They're a creator that has decided I'm going to create down this vein of thinking, and it works. Again, you put go look at all his postings, but as soon as he's talking about me, look at the monetization increase. It's money.
Right.
Again, I'm praying for him.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Well, then with people creating some of this controversy, and it's hard to pinpoint exactly what's caused it, but some of this controversy has led people to do Google reviews or any type of review. Yeah. So my personal opinion, I'll say my opinion after you tell us yours. But
well, ask me a question.
What's your thought first off on these Google reviews, and second off, most of them we can prove that they have never stepped foot in this store, and most of them probably haven't even called. And if they've called, like what's your feeling on these fake reviews?
Well, that's, again, I'm not this guy that's, but I mean, there's just certain things that men and women and people should not do, and lying is one of them. That just is not right. And so when you say fake reviews, you should be saying lying.
Yeah. Well,
in my mind, there's just people lying. Now, how do I stop a liar from lying? I can't.
Yeah, especially on a public platform.
So I'm back to who I've always been. I'm over here working. I'm doing the best. I'm doing some of the best work available to the consumer. I'm very proud of that. I'm very, very proud of that. And you can, if you want to stand there and throw stones and, lie about it or whatever, and that's what those reviews are. That's what you're talking about. And when these people, like these influencers, that's what I think you're explaining. I noticed that I get a report, and I noticed that when, I think it was Cory, not Cory's engine, it was somebody, the speed of air guy, the kid, said that.
Oh,
we got like, what did we get? Like 20 fake reviews or something.
I stopped counting.
On Google. Yeah. It was people 1 star, and they said they suck.
Or they're ripping people off.
Or they're ripping people off.
Actually, yeah. It's like the kid on social media that got the speed of air piston box, he did another video and was like, oh, actually, I was wrong. And he showed the invoice. So the thing about it is like, okay, so all those reviews, nobody cares. They did the review and then moved on with their life. But it's like, hey, we're over here. That was actually a dishonest post that was done. And now we're negatively impacted by it.
I think a lot of businesses are probably affected by this. And it's sad. I don't know that there's anything can be done about it. We will always have liars amongst us, and and I'm not saying I haven't.
And people with pitchforks,
and
fire going after.
Yeah, they did it back.
Those people.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Those pitchfork people have always been around. Let's go hang somebody, and then the guy's he's hanging, he's all hung, and they're going, "What did we hang him for?"
Yeah.
And they're like. And they're looking at other people standing around and going, I don't know. We just decided I was following the crowd.
Right. It's a riot.
That's sad, but it'll always be with us.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm going to throw it out there because it
Forrest Gump said it best. Stupid is as stupid does. Something like that.
I need to do a call to action because it really bugs me. I think there's probably some person that will find this on the internet. I think I've done one bad review on a product on Amazon because it wasn't bad, but they reached out to me and they made it right. And that was a long time ago, but I don't think I've ever done a bad review since. If I have an issue with a business, I go and try and deal with the business with that. But these, negative reviews are so impactful negatively to a business, especially if it's just people carrying pitchforks with no weight to that review.
Yeah, let's put them in two different categories. First off, a lie is a lie.
Right.
Normally, if I see a review on a business, and I'm not, your mom does most of that kind of stuff, but if I'm looking for something, I see a negative review, I want to read the thing, and you can tell a lot by listening to what the guy's reading. If a guy gives him 1 star and he says, they suck, they rip people off, I'm really like, okay.
Right.
Is
it because of some hearsay on social media?
It doesn't matter. It holds no weight with me is what I'm trying to say. But I like it, the review process. And we review all our customers, but I like the review process of when, hey, and then we contact them. I mean, if we see a Google review that's not good and they didn't contact us, because some people don't like confrontation.
Right.
They just want to, say, you pissed me off, and I get that. I'm cool with people that, don't want to confront somebody. But what we go out and we then, we'll contact them and say, hey, Mr. Smith, I'm so sorry about this. What can we do to make it right? And that's where the conversation should start, and it should end with people feeling like they were treated fairly in my world.
Yeah. Well, let's wrap this up with a few other questions. So
wait, don't I get to ask a question?
Almost.
Okay.
We'll get to that. What goals do you have for the business? 2024 was a unique year. We did a lot of new and different
social
things.
media blew up.
Yeah. Our social media took off. There was a lot of
moved into this building and kind of lived the whole year here. Moved in 2023, but the new facility, a lot of growth.
Right. What things what are some good takeaways that you have from that growth? What are some things that you want to implement this year of 2025? What are some things you're not going to do?
Well, we're doing, as you know, we're making divisions. We're growing into a more professionally run business. The days of Dave walking around and
directing,
is gone. It's and it never worked that well anyway. Made a lot of confusion. So I think we're making some really great strides in policies and procedures, our written policies, procedures, something I was never good at. I don't know how I graduated from high school and I dropped out of college because of the homework. I literally, as you know, son, you give me homework to do, I'm just not interested. And so you're kind of taking over, and I think what you're trying to do is suck everything out of my brain, and you're getting it on paper about how to do this, how to do this, how to do this, how to do this. And then you're implementing that with the different departments, our engine department, our service department, our social media department, and you're doing a great job. So that's one thing that I'm really excited about for 2025 is the development of that whole structure, the organization structure. And the other thing is the expansion of the machine shop. I'm really excited about that. You
got some new goodies coming.
New goodies, man. And that's the first question. Where did I get my passion for tools? Old grandpa. I'm still a tool guy. And then, and I'm excited about fishing, of course. I got some plans to do some good marlin fishing this year, and spending time with your mom, and just seeing your growth. That's very exciting for me. I mean, I won't get emotional. If I say I won't, I won't. Watch me do this. But I got the best life in the world. I really, somebody pinched me. I got goosebumps. I got them right now.
It's cold.
No, it's so exciting to be me because I get to live a dream life. Who wouldn't want to do this? Who wouldn't want to build a great business from a storage shed, work with his sons through that whole thing, have all the crazy adventures and the opportunities, which were obstacles, with options to overcome, and really create a great life. So I'm good to go. Yeah.
We love it. So what? You said you had a question. Now's your chance.
So what do you see yourself doing in 25, 26, the next year or two? I'm very interested in that. You being the president of the corporation.
My hope is, like you stated earlier, I think 2024, for so many years, and people probably don't realize this. When I say people, I'm talking to the people that are following us on social media and those platforms, because that's fairly new to us. 16 months ago, there was
200 followers.
We had 200 followers. And behind the scenes, guys, there's a lot of people. We have people that I'm looking at here right now that have helped us grow that are very intelligent, way beyond us at doing that. And so our thanks goes out to them.
Yeah, I still don't know how to post anything, dude. You know that, right?
Yeah. I don't post stories. I mean, yeah.
So when you say they're way more intelligent, it's like light years, man.
Yeah, just a different skill set. So we've been so blessed with that aspect. But the reason I'm saying that is for so many years, and we talk about this with Tyson, with Jason, with a few key people here, it's like it was just 5 to 8 of us.
Yeah.
Just fixing cars. And so the operation was literally I could open the door
and yell at somebody
where I was a service advisor and say, hey, do this, or this needs to be done, or do it this way. And so our operation has been fairly small and contained. We are moving our machine shop and we're expanding that. So we have the 2 facilities and we are totally outfitting our machine shop because really our hope, as many engines as we're building currently, our hope is to double that. And that's daunting, but exciting at the same time. So we've purchased a lot of new equipment, like you're aware. We are going to redesign and really create a beautiful workflow in that machine shop. We're doing a lot of fun things like this, for example, with our Builders Lounge, the first podcast, and a lot of continuing things for that. And then we're putting our mechanics more centralized in one building. A lot of you guys may not understand that, but Dad, you understand that, where we're trying to get mechanics under one roof, close and next to the service advisors and the machinist, and all of that machine operation over in the other building. So those are some of the fun things that I know we're looking forward to building together and really just expanding that whole process. I want to get into shipping engines. We do some in like Canada, as you said, a lot of people in this country, but there's a lot of people for some reason in Australia and other parts of the world that want our engines. So we want to expand that as well. So we're going to do maybe not another giveaway. Some of you guys may have opinions on that, but we want to build something awesome. That awesome, we'll see what we're going to do. But we have a lot of fun things. We want to build some more custom cars. We have a team that we're going to move into actually where we're sitting here, which is the warehouse. We're going to have a team move into here where we're going to do some more unique builds. So there's a lot of fun things that I'm really looking forward to.
Well, I think you're doing a great job. We've already seen an improvement in customer satisfaction and the things that we really wanted to strive for. So you're doing a great job.
Yeah,
awesome.
Well, thank you. I won't refer to you as Dave, but Dave's Auto, the man, the myth, the legend. My favorite title being Dad. Thank you for being the first guest here on the Builders Lounge. We look forward to doing more. Give everybody a sneak peek.
Oh my gosh,
you'll be involved in this.
Well, the thing is, you guys don't understand. Miles is such a personable guy, as you're seeing on his social media and this thing. And if you come to the shop, you'll know. To spend 5 minutes with Miles will brighten your whole day. And he's got this network.
Sliding money under the table here.
No, you don't have to. It's the truth. But he's developed this network of these heavy hitters in the industry. I mean, from parts manufacturers to builders, just a lot of people that he really enjoys collaborating with. I'm kind of a quiet guy in that way. And Miles is the opposite. So I can imagine you're probably going to have a boatload of really good guests on here. And do you want to, I'm thinking, because we got a visit next week. Should we, we got a visitor coming here next week. And we love this guy because he's like,
he's probably,
say the word, dude. He's a tribologist. Go look it up, man. But he's Lake Speed Jr., man. We love Lake Speed because he's, here's his saying, I'm stealing it from him, but I'll give him credit. He's all about science, not speculation.
Not speculation.
And how, as an engine builder, he's my, we're boys. That's the same thing I'm after. And I'm excited, we're hopefully going to have some other people that, I really admire. And I know you got a ton of them that you want to have on this.
We have a big list. It's so awesome to have you as the person to kick us off with this. And then, yes, so the second episode is going to be with Lake Speed Jr. Anybody that knows him out there, he's had a huge hand in total seal piston rings. He's got speed diagnostics. He's got a lot of different things. The dude is way smart. I'll have to.
Yeah,
we'll have to.
You have to polish up for that.
We will have to polish up for him. He's a good friend of ours. Plus, he is so smart, and we look forward to really having him on. For anybody out there, we're going to ask him the question: cold starting versus letting it idle. He's the guy that's going to know what kind of value that has. The secret sauce or the fuel additive, is that really valuable or not? This is the guy that literally, that's his religion, that's his life essentially, to answer questions about that. So stay tuned for that, because he's going to answer and give us, as he says, the science, not speculation.
That's it.
And then we've got an awesome list of people to come to really educate us in this industry, specifically as the next few lineup, and then some other things based around business, entrepreneurship, family.
I got an idea.
Okay, we're sprouting an idea here.
Yeah, the sprout is like, let's hear from you, because we can probably get just about anybody we want to come on this pod. You can probably get anybody, son. So here's the question.
Elon Musk? No.
I don't know.
Okay.
Joe
Rogan?
Well, I mean,
I gotcha.
I meant people in the industry.
Yeah.
You know? So, like, let's do that. Gail, what's up, bro? Okay.
Okay. Well, thank you, everybody. This is our first episode of the Builders Lounge. We're looking forward to a lot more with you guys, so stay tuned. We'll be doing one next week with Lake Speed Jr. We'll see you there.